In this video, we're going to be reviewing the Luckeep X1 20-inch fat tire foldable bike. It's a lot of power, a lot of speed, and I think it's something that you guys are really going to like. Let's get started.
Turn it up now.
Unboxing and assembling the Luckeep X1 wasn't too difficult. It came with a very clear instruction manual that had a lot of pictures to follow. If you're not comfortable with doing a full bike assembly, I highly recommend taking it to your local bike shop to get it assembled so that everything is done correctly. Luckeep did a great job packing the e-bike and protecting it for shipping so that even the tires came with a protective covering. I started by adding the handlebars to the neck, then before adding the front wheel to the front fork, I first needed to attach the fender and the headlight. Once the front rim was attached to the fork, it only took a few screws to tighten and adjust everything in their proper place. Next, I proceeded to remove the rest of the protective styrofoam covering and put the pedals and the seat in place. The final stages of assembly was to center and adjust the handlebars and brakes and the accessories like the screen and the cell phone holder in the perfect position, and then I tested the electrical and motor and I was ready to ride.
This is the Luckeep X1. The more I got to ride it, in fact, instantly, the time that I started riding this thing, I realized this is a lot. And we'll go over all of that and the benefits of it and why I think this could be a really desirable foldable bike with performance for those that are actually really experienced riders, and the way that it's tuned even for some beginner riders would really love it too as well. Okay, first I want to go ahead and start with the back of the bike here, and I'd like to kind of try to show that even in the afternoon we have the tail light that is on, and I'm going to show you that we have blinkers here left and right. So if I turn on the left blinker here and I go back now, you're going to see that there's a blinking light here. And again, this is in the afternoon, you'll be able to see it. Can you imagine at night? It really has a really bright output. Let's go ahead and take the right side here. So this is just what I'm talking about. This bike has a lot of tech. For the price that it comes, it's under $1,000 at the time of this recording. In fact, it's at $900 that I saw on the website. By the way, I just wanted to add a quick note. I did find that Luckeep sells the X1 also on the Amazon.com website. Now, if you go to Amazon.com, you'll notice that they have the price there at $100 less at $799. But I did ask Luckeep why they did that, or if there was a coupon code for their main website, and they said if you notice, the $799 price on Amazon also has a $100 fee included on top of that. So it is the same price as their website. You can buy it from either location, either on Amazon, or you could buy it from their website. If you have a gift card from Amazon, then you might as well use that and you'll get it for the same price. There's no difference between the two. So you're gonna get a bike that actually has some really killer components and a lot of tech in it as we go through it. Look, it even has a cell phone holder specifically mounted this way, built on here because of the app that comes with it that can control a ton of the features on the bike as well. It also comes with this alarm type key fob thing. So like, let me go ahead and shut off the bike. You have your regular on and off here. And once it's shut off, the bike turns off here. Then in order, you can actually lock the bike by having it here. And then you can actually unlock the bike here. And then in order for the bike to actually turn on, even though you have it unlocked, this unlocks and locks the alarm. But this button down here is, if you listen closely, I'm going to hit it twice. And that means that you can now turn on the bike. Without actually doing that, you won't be able to turn it on. Now you can use the app as well. So what we have here is then once that's ready, you can then turn this on and then the bike activates. And then from here, you are now ready to go. Now, one thing I want to say about this display is that it does have a little disadvantage with regard to having sunglasses. So this is these are polarized sunglasses, and I cannot hardly see anything when I have these on. So just keep that in mind. That is one thing I wish that maybe some of these display companies would realize, that a lot of people have to or should be wearing eye protection, which means that it may actually cut out anything that has that type of thing. Now, for the most part, it doesn't really matter to me. I actually just know where my settings are, and I can actually see through my glasses enough to know the different settings here. Like for instance, we have N here. Actually, let me get this out of here because it's a little distracting. Taking out my cell phone. Now, one thing is, this is the cell phone holder mount. You just stick it in there, you screw it in. It takes, you know, just a few seconds, but you can actually adjust the tension so you know how tight it is. Back to here. Now that you see this screen here, as I am going up and down, you'll take a note here. I'm going to push this button and it'll go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you do have a 5-level pedal assist. Now, even at level 1, you do actually have full throttle capability, which is another really cool feature that I really like bikes that actually put that in there, because a lot of other companies actually have the throttle get controlled by the max speed based on what PS levels that you're in. So we're going to go back again to the back of the bike here. There is a max 25 kilogram here for the back rack, but the bike itself is rated to do up to 330 pounds max payload. The website that I saw did have a couple of discrepancies as far as the different weights. You could go up to 400 in one part of the website, they're talking about the bike, and 330 in another part. But so I'm going to go more of the conservative numbers with regards to what's on the website. The other thing we have here is 160 millimeter disc hydraulic brakes. And as we are looking at this super cool aluminum alloy rim, the one thing you don't have to worry about is that you don't have to worry about truing. These rims are just going to pretty much stay just the way they are. They're not going to be anything you have to worry about. And the thing that's also really nice about it is that this is a Bafang rim, and it has a 750 watt Bafang motor inside that casing that's in there, as well as a max peak rating up to 1130. It's a 750 watt rated. That is definitely something you do feel the power. There's a lot of torque that comes out of this bike. These are 20 by 4 inch CST tires. As far as tires go, these are your basic for fat tires bikes. They are very comfortable, make the ride really soft for you. So even though there's no rear suspension, it still can be ridden with lower pressure if you want a super soft ride. The frame design is also rated for people from heights 5'4" up to 6'4". As far as the standover height here, it is low enough for me, being only 5 foot 5 inches, that if I do stand with my legs straddled both sides of the frame off the seat, I can stand comfortably with that not putting too much pressure between my legs. It does have a accurate rating. I think someone at 5'4" would still also be able to stand over it without any problems with the standover height. We have a battery in here. I'll go ahead and talk about the battery a little later on the specs. It is a 15 amp hour battery, 48 volt. You can charge it right on the bike by plugging it in here. You also can take out the battery and plug it in and charge it separately from the bike as well. One thing that I want to bring to your attention in the back here is, we do have a standard kickstand. It's great, stays clear, so you don't have any pedal lock, that comes around here. So the pedals do clip a lot of clearance. It doesn't hit whenever I'm pedaling it. The other thing about this back here is you'll notice I have this zip tie for the fender. And the reason being is this fender is basically not mounted anywhere other than the front there. So it does have a tendency to flap. Now, even before I jumped on the bike for its first ride, I knew that this was going to bother me by it bouncing up and hitting. So this is a super easy solution. Just zip tie it up to the top here. If you can see the front, this is basically what the fender is like in the back. It just kind of has one holding and it would stay there. And with that, if I didn't have this, with this bouncing, it would hit the rack. It would be making enough noise of a knocking noise that would be very bothersome. There is a waterproofing IP rating for the headlight that's in the front. As far as the performance of this bike, it's absolutely just amazing. At 28 miles an hour, you can get up to your throttle. You can also help it with pedal assist. You get everything that you kind of really want out of a bike. But one thing that's really surprised me for the price point, this was one that after they reached out to me, I looked at it, and with the Bafang motor, 750, hydraulic brakes, everything that was mentioned in the listing, I thought, it has actually quality components. I was curious as how well something like this would actually end up performing. Hydraulic brakes here, I don't know the brand that's here, but they work really good. It's a very soft pull so that you'll get immediate stopping. 7-speed SIS Shimano shifter. So it's basic. We have also our Shimano derailleur in the back here. This is a 7-speed derailleur. I do believe that it's at least an 11 tooth for the high gear, which is kind of important for bikes that go up to 28 miles an hour. You're going to be air pedaling. They did not have the actual specs of the gearing in the back or the front, but you're not air pedaling too much at 27 or 28, I could actually still help a little if I tried to pedal fast enough. You also have your Bafang labeled front rim. This bike does weigh 70 and a half to 71 pounds. Even see here, they took a little bit of care, which is really nice, to wrap this extra, because they already have the wrapping, but they actually double wrapped it. So a lot of great cable management, you know, just the little details that sometimes to me makes all the difference. Now we're going down to the front of the bike. It does have a folding mechanism here, and basically it's very easy to use. Just go ahead and push this out. That unlocks this here so that you can pull it down. You just have to remember to make sure that when you do lock it back up to put it, and I will go over again later on with the full folding and unfolding of this bike here. The next thing I want to go ahead and talk about with the front suspension is that we do have your front preload adjustments and also your lockouts. So here, and there is 80 millimeters of travel, which does add for a really good, soft, comfortable ride on the front end here. Now again, with 4-inch fat tire, just by softening them, you could already get a very soft ride if you wish. Nothing really out of the ordinary with the assembly of the bike here. It was pretty basic as far as most bikes go. The headlight here is really a pretty nice bright headlight. Along with that, we do have, let's go over some of the other features. We have a small horn. That horn is actually beeping from the front of the light there. And of course our lights are on here. And as we look here, we have a half twist throttle. Like I said, this bike is actually really solid. When I'm riding around, there's no extra added weird noises. This seat is a basic soft seat. This bike is foldable, and I think at that point, let's go ahead and talk about the folding of it and how compact it can get. Okay, so as we approach up the bike here, this is how I usually like to fold it. I like to actually be on the opposite side of the kickstand, and specifically, I do start a lot of times like lifting this up here. And the first thing I do is I also position the pedal so that it's about maybe, I don't know, 6:30, 7 o'clock-ish, facing that way. I always also want to take out the key before I unfold the bike. And that's kind of an important point, because if these cables do actually push against it, a lot of people have had these type of bikes where they break their keys or undo it. So twist it, take it out. Okay, so I do take out the key, and this bike is one of those that actually does not need to have the key in. Now, if you do stick it in and you can put it to the on position, your key will not come out. That way you don't lose it. On the mid position, which is still on, you can take out the key. Now from here, we have a latch on this side that we can just go ahead and open up. Once the bike is ready to be folded, you just want to make sure that the battery is at least still locked in with the pin out here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and bring this over. Sometimes I often like to do is hold the back brake, and that way I can lift up the front here and bring the frame forward. So with the back brake being held, I can just fold the bike this way. This is why I like to be opposite of the kickstand. Now once that's there, we can go ahead and bring the key out, and I'm going to unlock the battery. I'll put the key down here and slide out the battery, and once the key's ready to come out, or the battery's ready to come out, what's holding it in now is the plug for the charging. So once that plug is taken out here, we're going to remove this, and I just want to show you basically the battery. That we have a 15 amp hour 48 volt battery, and it also comes with a 3 amp fast charger. I'm going to go ahead and put this battery back in. Always check to make sure that the keyhole is on the bottom. Stick this here. I'm holding it in with my thumb on this hand, and then basically going to put the pin in, lock it up there. After that is in, so let's just say I already have that, we can just go ahead and bend this down, take this, and pull out this safety latch here, and this will fold up very nicely. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the camera now so you can see how tight. So I'm going to hold that there for now, but let me grab the camera. So as we're looking up here, you can probably imagine now, this is the whole size of the bike folded up, and it does get pretty close in, all the way in. Here we go. Then you can kind of see how thick this bike really is. It's actually very thin. So with that there, to actually refold the bike or put it back together, stick that in. There is that safety here. Going to push that safety back in there, and the same thing, I just kind of hold the brake on the back, and that way the front can just come forward, and then I can bring this in and push this together, and you're going to hear the bike actually chirp when the battery gets connected. I'm going to snap that in. So I have the snap in back here. Once that's put together, I do need to do the double tap and the unlock. Okay, with that now, I just double tapped it without unlocking it first. So what I'm going to do is unlock it there, double tap it, and then I can go ahead and turn on the bike. So to give you a brief overview of what I was talking about here, this is the latch. Very simple, pull it up, pull it out, and the bike will then be able to start to be folded down together. Everything else is pretty much as you see it. You do have an adjustable neck piece here. So if we wanted to, we could raise the neck quite a bit higher, or the handlebars quite a bit higher, and extend the neck out. This is almost at the lowest point because I'm shorter. And me at being 5'5", this is where I like my seat, so I get full leg extension. So there's a lot more to give going down, where you can bring the seat up a lot higher for those who are taller. You can also bring it down lower if you think about it, at least 4 inches. So maybe even someone 5'2", if they want full leg extension. The only problem is the standover height is going to be a little annoying for them. Then the other part is to stick this in here. So once it gets in there, it's pretty flush. That'll help prevent rain from getting in there. So this is the Luckeep X1. 750 watt fat tire bike. As you can see, it is just a really awesome design of a bike. Basically your basic folding style, but with the quality parts that were put into this, it is very solid. Front to back, I was very surprised at how solid it felt, how fast it was. It's tuned so that you don't get that strong jerk right off the line, but it does accelerate quite fast after you get your first initial push off. Everything works so smoothly with this. The hydraulic brakes, the gearing, the ride was just a really fun ride. And I'm kind of surprised that they're putting in all of these extra features now without having to raise the cost. I mean, this thing alone is pretty cool to have if you think about it. You also have your alarms, be able to turn it on there and not worry about if someone's taking your bike that you won't be informed about it. It's a simple bike. And for the price that you get it for, with all the components that comes in it, it's a heck of a value. Keep in mind, if you are looking for the Luckeep, you can actually look down below and it'll take you directly to the website, and there's also going to be an Amazon link. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.